But it went to full screen. Is it full screen on your end?
It's full screen on my end, yes.
Got
I can't see the video anymore, but I can see the control panel and the full screen
Gotcha.
slides.
All right, so who is TechSoup Canada on here?
That's me. I've logged in as TechSoup.
Okay.
Oh, great. So you should have then the full controls. Excellent.
Yeah, so you should be able to, I guess, open it once it's 5:30, I guess.
Yep, it's a minute to go,
Shabs,
but
Shabs, do you have like a specific control for like a start or take people from a weight room?
there is. It says the meeting is already kind of running.
Okay, great.
And the session is being recorded, so. And
maybe if we can get
you came in as
people,
a regular attendee, right, Eli? You didn't come in as a presenter, so the fact that
I've received 2 different invites, so I'm gonna go through and just see if my other link brings me something else. I'm just gonna open that up in another
Eli's
browser.
listed as a panelist.
Yeah, I received multiple invites, so I might be coming in a couple different ways.
If there's anyone who's listening to this who's in the audience, if you can include a message in the chat window or send a message in the chat.
Or a question, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let us know you're alive.
I think there may be a function to open up the GoToWebinar to let everyone in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Googling.
Me too. Let's race.
All right, go to webinar.
Start a scheduled webinar.
Shabs, is there a way to share the organizer permissions?
the attendee present permission, that's pretty much it. So I can make you presenter. Jason, is that you or Eli? Jason?
Go for it,
yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just looking at chat. So I don't see any settings on the presenter side to let people in.
So Eli,
Okay.
logged in with the regular invite, or are you coming in as an organizer, Eli?
I'm coming in as a panelist.
Okay.
So according to what I'm reading, it says that the live webinar has to be started. And once the webinar goes live, the hallway dialog box disappears and attendees.
Yeah, so it looks like there is like a start button basically, depending on which dashboard you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Shabs, I'm going to put that link to the support just here into the chat. Or Shabs, can you share your screen? Just I want to sort of see if we can see your admin panel.
It's already shared. Do you see that?
Okay, so we're not seeing the, yeah, we're only seeing the screen and not the admin stuff then. Okay, no worries.
Jason, we do Loom. One of those we're gonna talk about tonight. Okay, so I'll go to Evernote, unlock me. So Shabs, we can see your screen, but we can't see the controls.
I think it hides the control from, because
Just showing the screen, which is fair enough, but these start button, maybe hit down behind like one of the little 3-dot options you often see.
Okay.
Is the meeting currently locked, or is there a way to unlock the meeting? Or
That's what I was looking at too. Yeah. So it says to unlock and when you click the toggle again, and then the lock icon will switch to the
Jeb, does that ring a bell? You seeing anything that looks lockish to you?
lockish, unlock button.
okay, so it looks like there's at the very bottom of the panel, the panel, there's a little switch. Post the link in the chat.
Yeah, it says on air, showing screen, it says on air. So I'm pretty sure this is live. On top, it says.
Okay, if we're on air, that sounds like a good thing. I think let's
start.
I think we should do it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, guys. Hey.
We've got 43 people there. I think it's time.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Hey guys, so welcome to a fresh edition of TechSoup Toronto presenting NetSquared. So we have our panelists Miko, Jason, and Maggie and Eli on the call right now. So we'll get started first with Maggie, who's going to walk us through a case study using Trusted Space, which is the community hub which helps to connect communities together. And then Jason and Miko are going to walk us through tools to being an Olympian in your nonprofit community. So Maggie, I'm going to transfer the control to you, and then you can get started.
Sure, okay, thank you. Hello, everyone, I'm Maggie.
Okay, Maggie, I've transferred the control.
Is everyone able to see my screen? Oh, wait a second.
Yes.
Screen?
Yeah, now it's gone. The presentation was up earlier.
But
Okay,
you can see the
perfect.
slides?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, my name is Maggie, and I'm going to introduce to you a case study for a nonprofit in Toronto called St. James Town. This is called Trusted Space is the platform, and it's a way to discover your community. So we've launched we've launched this Trusted Space in the St. James Town community. It's one of the most highly dense population areas in Canada. So how the hub works is basically it connects members of the community with each other, as well as to the main hub, which is the St. James Town Community Corner. So finding information, finding community information is hard. A lot of the residents in the area have the question is how do I get a health card? They need to find resources and how-to guides. A lot of the residents want to find out when the child and family programs are happening. The program listings they're looking for. They want to know where's a service provider that I need, such as the location and the correct place to go to find the information that they need. And how do I find a workshop? What are the workshops? How do I register? Examples could be employment workshops or language workshops. So what we have for this space is a community hub. This is what Trusted does for nonprofit organizations. We help clients find resources, services, and events, and in this case from the SJT, the St. James Town, as well as the SPNs, who are the service provider networks, easily. St. James Town has 35 service providers, and this is a way for them all to connect together to find the resources that they need. They're able to discover information and resources, find events, workshops, programs, and volunteer opportunities, as well as event check-in and reporting, which is very important in the nonprofit space to be able to find out what the attendance is like so that funding can be allocated appropriately. Another feature that we have as well is to be able to connect members or the residents of the neighborhood with each other to help. For example, seniors who might need help with shopping, a mother looking for a play date, a student who's in need of tutoring, a new immigrant who might be in need of advice, as well as an unemployed resident who has skills that they would have to offer to the community. Trusted provides a way for them to connect with each other in order to help the residents of the neighborhood, for them to help each other. So this is an example of the platform. This is the browse feature. This is where you would go to see all of the posts that have been made to the space. In this case, we're seeing some events that are happening in the neighborhood. This is where you would go. We have a few different types that people can post. They can post items that they might want to share with other members of the community, perhaps give it away or that they're looking for. Events, of course, any volunteer opportunities that might be from the community center or one of the service providers, or even just one of the resident neighborhood buildings might be looking for some volunteers for some events. Help, if you're looking for help, for example, if you're a senior who's looking for shopping, or you're a handyman who's an unemployed handyman who's looking to offer your services to the neighborhood, as well as surveys can be offered, surveys or polls, and any room bookings we do as well. This is an events-focused page, which was very important to the St. James Town community. So we've helped them to come up with this to serve their community. You can see a list view of the upcoming events or a calendar view. You can filter, or you can just filter by date. You can also filter by community as well. And it's very easy to get a ticket. You just press get and the ticket is there for you. These are the communities. This is where you might go to find out more about the different communities that are in your neighborhood. In this example, we have some of the communities that are the service providers. So we have Sherburne Health as well as Sick Kids Hospital. So you might want to go to this page to find out a little bit more information about them, or to find out some of the events that they have coming up, as well as any information that has been specifically posted by the members of this community. And this is a way you can also contact the administration providers of these communities as well. So there are two different roles that we have. We have the resident and the admin role. For the resident, for Trusted, the sign-up process is very simple. All you need to do is enter your name and email, or you can sign in with your Facebook or Twitter account or your social media. It's a very easy way for residents to discover local resources from the community, as well as the St. James Town Community Corner or any of the service provider networks or other residents. And the residents can add any skills to their profile, any interests that they have, and what it is that they're looking for in the community. And now for the admins, it makes it very easy. They can manage the community info and approve members if there's a closed or private community. You can create verified events for the space. A verified event, for example, is if the St. James Town Community Corner is having a specific event that is to St. James Town, it may be verified to the space that this is an actual event that's happening at St. James Town and it's approved by them, whereas an unverified event may be something that is run by a community and just so you know what type of event you're attending. As well as there are engagement reports that you can find, as like what are the most interacted with posts for the information and events that they post. So if you like, we also have a space called Startup. This is where startups, nonprofits, tech founders, people who are in tech or any activists go to kind of to sign up and find information about what's going on. We do have at Startup, there is a community called the Nonprofit Community, and this is a great way for you to network with other people in the community and find each other to do great things. Great, thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can just email shabs@trusted.space. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Maggie. That was a great presentation. So Jason, I'll transfer the control back to you. So guys, if you want, you can go ahead and sign up at startup.trusted.space. And it's a quick way to network. So you basically have to log in and just mention what are your skills and what are you looking for. And once you do that, you can go to Coffee Connect and it'll show you the right matches for you. So if you guys are interested, you can go forward and get connected. And in the meantime, we'll set Jason up to present the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, great. So I'm just gonna wait on the presenter controls to come over. Shabs, are you able to transfer the presenter controls over?
Yep, I'm changing the presenter right now. So that's changing. Jason, did you get that?
Alrighty.
Okay.
I do.
We said we would start at 6 p.m. So we have a few minutes. Should we? I don't know if people are watching the agenda, so we can probably wait a few minutes, or we have about 10 minutes to go. Folks, are you able to see the chat channel and maybe ask any questions or anything that you want, or we can get started like in a couple of minutes? Does it give you the option, Maggie or Jason, to chat?
It does. Shabs, do you want to send me an invitation to come as just an attendee, and I can see what's going on either side?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
If anyone would like to input a sample question into the Q&A section, we can also try that as well.
Welcome to the webinar.
Nope, I doubt that. That's strange. Maggie, it won't let me convert to it's already registered you as a presenter, so as a panelist.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should just continue because I'm not sure if the chat is visible to everybody. So, Jason, do you have control now?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So I think we should get started because yeah, I think this is the best thing. Let's continue. So Jason, please go ahead. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. You're able to see my screen and everything?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. All right, so welcome everyone to Apps, Tools, and Tactics to be a Nonprofit Olympian. Really glad to be here today to share a whole assortment of tools. So my name is Jason Shim, and I'll be presenting with Miko Whitlock. And without too much ado, I'll jump straight into the introductions for the both of us. So A little bit about us. So I'll start off. My name's Jason Chim. I serve as Director of Digital Strategy and Transformation at Pathways to Education Canada. We are an organization that helps youth who are living in low-income communities to graduate from high school and reach their full potential. And I also have the pleasure of serving as a Director of the Board on N10, which is an organization that helps nonprofits to use technology for nonprofits to best meet their missions. And I'm joined today by Miko Whitlock, who can jump straight into his introduction as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Jason. So I am a fellow board member for N10 as well. And I am the founder of an organization based in the US called Mindful Techie. And through that organization, I work with change makers just like you to break free from technology distraction, break free from work-life overload so that you can do your best work and live your best life. And this topic that we're going to be talking about today is squarely aligned with that in terms of how you can actually use technology to take your organization to the next level. So excited to be able to share what we have to offer today.
Great. So in terms of what to expect today, these are tools that we have all, that Miko and I have both personally used. So everything that we are recommending, we have used ourselves. And these are tools that will help you go faster, raise higher revenue, and build stronger relationships. So this is really riffing off the Olympic motto of faster, higher, stronger. So all of the tools will fit one of these three categories. So the first thing that we're going to jump into is video. So in terms of video tools, Vidyard and Bonjoro are both video tools that make it very easy for you to connect with the people who are supporting your cause or to record video in your browser to send quick little video snippets to either connect with people or explain something. And the next slide here, I'll just show Vidyard in action. So what this is a Vidyard is a Chrome extension that you can install that you can hit record very quickly, and you can record your screen or you can record a video. And what it allows you to do, or what Pathways has used it for, is this allows us to have a really personalized way of thanking our supporters. So what we've done is that we will record a very personalized video. And in this instance, you can see one of our staff, Maddie, recording a thank you video for someone named Catherine. And so this is a really nice touch to be able to engage with your supporters. Another way that it can also be used is for explanations for tech support. So we have also had staff, if they have a challenge that they are finding on a website, that they can record a quick video directly in the browser and send it very quickly as well. So Vidyard has been super helpful for us. And Bonjoro is another video platform that can also do this as well.
All right, awesome. So the next tool up is Loom. So it's similar but different from the previous two tools that Jason talked about. So Loom is essentially a video capture or a screen capture tool that allows you to do audio as well. And one of the cool things about this is it allows you to be able to show someone and narrate what you're seeing on your screen or what the particular issue is. It can be particularly useful for tech support. So like, for example, we know that lots of folks are working from home, perhaps for the first time, or perhaps aren't used to working from home full time and might need help setting up their VPN or might need help setting up their the video meeting software like GoToMeeting or Zoom, and might have an issue. And so being able to do a screen capture with an audio and showing someone exactly what your issue is, and being able to get a video back with audio narration, like, okay, well, here's what you should actually do, can be really helpful and really streamline the process of getting support as opposed to going back and forth via email or by phone. And so there's a plugin for this, there's a website, it's a pretty nifty tool. So if that use case makes sense for you, really cool tool to use. And one of the interesting things about Loom is that because of what's happening with the coronavirus now, they have actually made their free version of their software available for free through the summer. So if that's something that you want to take advantage of, something to look into.
Cool. And next up, we have Kapwing. which is a very fun name for this video software. And you can do a whole bunch of stuff on Kapwing, and you can edit videos directly inside. You can add subtitles as well, and that's the main feature that we use it for at Pathways, where you can take a subtitle file, or even if you don't have a subtitle file, that you can directly go in and manually put it in. And what it does is it burns in the subtitles directly into the video, which is very handy for things like social media videos, because not everyone necessarily wants to be listening to audio. Let's say if you're browsing social media late at night or something, that you having the captions makes it more accessible and makes it more convenient as well. So if you are using a transcription service, you can take an SRT file and import it directly in, and it'll burn the subtitles directly on. Kapwing has a whole bunch of other video editing features in it as well. This is just one of them, but this is the main one that I use it for. And next up, we have some social media tools that we'll share with you as well. So first up here is Linktr.ee. So for those of you who are on Instagram, when you're trying to share a link on Instagram, the thing is in posts, you can't, because it doesn't, the platform doesn't allow for it. However, you may have seen in some posts that people will use the words link in bio. However, Instagram only allows you to have one link in your bio. A way to get around that is to use a platform like Linktr.ee. And what it does is it turns that one link into a menu. And so you can see here that from the Pathways to Education Instagram, that when you click on the Linktr.ee link, it takes you to a series of links that you can that your users can click on. Now, this is helpful if you are sharing various resources in your posts, and you can direct people to find out more information by going to the link in your bio and finding the corresponding link to the resource they may be looking for.
All right, great. So the next tool that we have up, as we're talking about social media, is a plugin called Distraction Free. So I know that lots of folks are working from home, and I'm not going to tattle on anyone. Maybe some of you are actually going to YouTube for entertainment while you should be working. But maybe some of you are actually going to YouTube because you're trying to figure out how to use Zoom or GoToMeeting or some other software. And one of the things that often happens is we can end up going down a rabbit hole because we have on the right side of the screen, we have the recommended videos or what's coming up next. And then you have a host of other things that are on your screen as well, like the autoplay after your current video plays, the sidebar, the feed, the comments, all those things. Distraction Free is a plugin that you can install for your browser that essentially allows you to block all those things out so that you can focus on the primary reason that you're actually on YouTube. So if you're looking to go to YouTube for a specific purpose and not waste your time 45 minutes later looking at cat videos or something, then this is one tool I would recommend that you consider taking a look at. And let's see. So the next set of tools are very similar. So if you are using the mobile versions of Instagram, of YouTube, and Facebook, and you find yourself in situations where you want to be on the platform and you want to stay engaged and connected with people that are really important to you, but you also want to get work done and you also want to live your life outside of just your time on social media, these particular mobile applications, the mobile versions, actually have features that allow you to set time limits and reminders to simply help you gauge how much time you're spending on the platforms. So if you're finding that you're spending too much time on Instagram or on Facebook and you want to be able to limit that or balance that with your work or with your life, these can be really a really cool way to help you just remember, okay, you spent 45 minutes and it's time to move on to something else, so that you can go on about your day. And this next tool is really similar, but it's for the desktop. So this particular tool, let's see. So Jason, could you advance? I'm having a hard time with the advancing of that. Thank you. So it's called Facebook Newsfeed Eradicator, and this is a plugin specifically for Facebook, for the browser. And one of the cool things about this is if you've ever had the case where you logged into Facebook and you had a specific intention of saying hello to someone, sending them a happy birthday message, posting something in the group, and then you get distracted by the news feed, and you look up like it's like an hour later and you're watching, cute puppies, running around, and you're wondering like what happened with your time. But part of that's because you got distracted by what was in your newsfeed, right? So this particular plugin allows you to replace your newsfeed with a quote, and it makes it more likely that when you log in, you're going to be more likely to stick with your original intention of the reason that you were on Facebook to begin with. So it makes Facebook a little less distracting and more usable depending on what your intention is when you actually log into the platform. And so our next category here as we move forward is focused on email. And so we know that email is one of those things that the studies tell us sucks up about half of our work time. The latest stat that I've seen about this says that we spend 52% of our time either reading, writing, responding to, or getting back on task after interacting with email. And so when you take that into in the aggregate, you think about how long is your work week, and what would you be able to get accomplished if you could actually get half of that time back? Think about that. And so these next few tools hopefully will be some things that you can use to help you to do exactly that. So the next few tools are specifically for Gmail. So I'm a Gmail power user, so I'm going to share some of my favorite tools specifically for Gmail. The first is a tool called Inbox When Ready. And this is a tool that I use very similar to the Newsfeed Eradicator for Facebook that allows me to hide my inbox upon logging into my account. Now, why is this important? Well, sometimes when I'm logging into my email, my primary intention is to respond to a previous email or conversation series, or perhaps it is to look for something in particular, and I don't want to be distracted by what is in my inbox. Or perhaps I just want to compose a new message and send that out, but I don't want to be distracted by the things that are coming into my inbox as I'm actually doing that, so that I don't get off track. So this allows you to hide your inbox, and it also gives you stats on how often you are in your inbox. So it'll tell you, okay, today you spent 2 hours and 43 minutes in your inbox. And so that is a way to raise your awareness about how much time you're spending on email. And if you want to change that habit, you want to be spending less time on email, that having that information can be useful in terms of helping you to understand how to use your inbox with more intentionality. So the next tool that we have here is for folks that like to keep a tidy inbox. Perhaps you are one of those inbox zero folks, or you're really OCD about how your email is organized and keeping your inbox clear. This is a feature that you can enable in Gmail called Send plus Archive, or Archive plus Send, that essentially allows you to simultaneously send a response to an email or conversation thread, and also archive that message at the same time, so that you are essentially doing one thing, you're doing two things with just the press of one button. So if you're one of those people that wants to keep your inbox tidy, this could be a tool for you. And the cool thing is that if someone responds to the conversation that you've archived, then it appears in your inbox again. So you're not losing the message, or you're not missing out on a response if another response to that message appears. The next tool up is also one of my Gmail favorites, and this tool is called Streak CRM. Now, it is intended to be used as a CRM, but I don't use it necessarily for those features. I use it for a few different features. The first is that it allows you to do an unlimited number of pre-scheduled emails. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm working outside of traditional business hours and I'm sending emails either early in the morning or late at night. But I don't actually want the emails to go out during that time frame, because I don't want to set the expectation that I'm going to be available to respond to those emails during that particular time frame. So what I will do is I will write the email and then schedule them to go out during what I consider to be normal or traditional business hours. And this particular tool allows you to do an unlimited number of those types of pre-scheduled emails. It also allows you to create snippets. So if you find yourself getting the same types of questions over and over again, and you are just looking for an efficient way to respond to those questions, it allows you to create snippets where simply you can use a keyboard shortcut to copy and paste those frequently requested phrases or responses to questions into your email. And the the last thing that I really love about this particular tool is if you are in need of having to do really personalized, sophisticated mail merges, Streak is a really powerful tool that allows you to do that. So if you want to be able to personalize emails, have it come from a real email address, but have something that's a bit more sophisticated than simply just adding someone's name, for example. Streak allows you to have a really sophisticated way of doing different types of merge tags to really make for a highly customized, high volume batch of emails. And the next tool here is Boomerang. So this particular tool is available for both Outlook and for Gmail. And very similar to Streak, it allows you to pre-schedule emails to go out. I believe there's a limit on the number of emails you can pre-schedule with the free version of this. And the other cool thing about this is you can also set reminders to do follow-ups for email. So if you send out an email and you want to set a reminder to say, like, if you haven't received a reply within 2 days, for example, that you want to follow up on that, you can use this particular tool to set reminders so that you can stay on top of all the conversations and projects that you might be managing through your email. So before I mentioned mail merge, and for folks that are really versed in the Microsoft suite of tools, you may know that it's pretty simple and seamless to do a series of mail merges using Microsoft Office, Excel, and Outlook. But for a long time, that was really challenging, or actually you weren't able to do that with the Google suite of tools. But there's a really cool plugin for Google Sheets. It's called the Mail Merge Extension plugin. And you can install this as a free plugin, and it essentially allows you to have that same capability with Gmail. So you can create simply a Google Sheet with your information. You can link it to a draft email that you have in your Gmail account, or you can create a template within this mail merge template, and you can send out your mail merge. So pretty cool tool to use when it comes to sending out mail merge tools. Mail merge emails. Okay, so we're going to shift gears a bit and talk a little bit about browsers and privacy. And this is probably a more relevant topic now than ever, because so many of us now have been forced to work from home, and a lot of our work has been facilitated online. And of course, the browser is one of the primary ways that we're facilitating that. So it's important that we talk about the browser, how to optimize that, but also talk a little bit about privacy as well. So it's in that regard that I'm going to share with you the next few tools that might be helpful for you. So the first tool up is called Siempo, and it's available both as a mobile application for Android and also for desktop. So it's not available for Apple. So for all the Apple fans, do not send me hate mail. Send it to these folks, not to me. Okay. So on the mobile version for Android, it allows you to simply more effectively manage and batch your notifications. And I believe it also serves as an app launcher to really help you to focus your attention and to simplify the number of notifications that you're getting so that you can be more focused on the task at hand. On the desktop, it's available as a plugin across browsers, specifically Google Chrome and Firefox. And it's a plugin that allows you to essentially manage the time and attention that you're spending on the most commonly distracting websites. So it comes preloaded with the most commonly distracting websites, but you can also modify this to add your own or to take some off the list. And it essentially helps you to raise your awareness about how you're using those distracting websites. And so one of the cool features it does is it forces you to slide a slider if you're accessing one of the distracting websites. So for example, when I go to Facebook, which is one of my big distracting websites, I'm forced to slide a slider. And the more time that I go to Facebook and the more time that I spend on Facebook, the harder it becomes to actually slide the slider. And the idea is that I'm forcing myself to think about, do I really need to be on Facebook? Do I really need to be spending this much time on Facebook? So it's a really cool tool if you want to be able to work from home, want to be able to have your fun on Facebook or on the news sites, but also be able to make sure you're getting work done at the same time. This next tool called Stayfocusd is a very similar tool, but it works in a little bit of a different way. It allows you to identify your top distracting websites. So for me, that would be social media and some news sites. It allows you to set a daily budget. So for me, I set 30 minutes. I allow myself 30 minutes for my news sites. And then after my 30 minutes expires, if I'm on one of those sites, my page reloads and I get a message that says, shouldn't you be working? And I'm not able to access that website again until the next 24-hour period, where then my budget for the amount of time I set actually resets. So if you are like me and you want to be able to balance that with sort of staying informed and maybe engaging and watching a few cat videos here and there, but you don't want to spend all your time doing that so you can get work done and live your life, this is one tool that can help you do that. And it's pretty straightforward. It's a bit simpler to set up than Siempo, but nonetheless, a really good tool to consider. The next tool here, speaking of privacy, is a tool called Privacy Badger that I really love. It's a tool that is a plugin for both your both Chrome and for Firefox. Websites that are tracking you using trackers and cookies and other types of things to track your activity across the web and across different websites. This is a really powerful tool that you can use. It's a free plugin. You can install it, and it detects the trackers and the bad cookies. It automatically blocks them, and it really just makes for a more secure and private browsing experience. Now, the one thing I will note for this is that for certain websites, when this is actually enabled, the website is not able to fully load. And so you might, if you run into those instances, let's say you're buying something on Amazon and you're not able to check out because the page is not fully loading, you're able to temporarily disable this particular plugin so that you can check out and then you can re-enable it once you've completed your transaction. So that's the one caveat I did want to share with you as you think about installing a tool like Privacy Badger. The next tool that I'll share with you is a privacy tool that is specifically for the mobile device. So it's called Privacy Pro. Most people, if you're familiar with this tool, you might know it primarily as a VPN tool. I don't necessarily use it as a VPN. I just use it for the component that actually monitors the trackers. So when you download applications on your phone or when you're browsing on your phone using a browser, the websites and applications are often collecting data, using trackers to track your behavior across the web, to send you advertising and to sell your data to data brokers, etc. This particular tool allows you to actually see what those trackers are and to selectively decide to block those. And so again, making for a more secure and private browsing experience. And this particular functionality is available with the free version of this particular tool called Privacy Pro.
Great. Next up, we have Signal. So Signal is an app that will help address the fact that when you send a text message, it's not actually secure. So the text message gets logged, and it can actually be viewed after it's been sent, in logs and such, so that your cell phone provider is actually logging all your text messages, and they are accessible. So one of the things to kind of keep in mind is if you want secure messaging, Signal is an app that is open source and is encrypted. And it was also recommended by the EU Commission for their staff to use for private and secure communications. One of the features that Signal has is also disappearing messages. So you can set a timer on messages so that after 5 minutes or after an hour or a day, after someone has viewed the message, that it will disappear as well. So some have raised the question of, how does this differ from an app like WhatsApp, which also, sells itself as being end-to-end encrypted? The thing is that an app like WhatsApp is also owned by Facebook, and for Signal, it is an open source app, so anyone can examine the code to, check its security and encryption as well. And if it's any kind of comfort, this is also an app that Edward Snowden has used for his communications as well. So, if you're looking for secure encrypted communications, Signal is an app that can help facilitate that. Next up, we have an Evernote web clipper as well as Pocket. So during the course of your day, you may encounter articles that are super interesting, but you may not have time in the current moment to read them immediately. So a way to kind of buffer those kind of articles is to save them to apps like Evernote web clipper or Pocket. Now, the benefit is that both of these apps are cross-platform. So anything that you save can be viewed on whether on your mobile or your desktop via the respective apps. Now, the way that these two differ is that Evernote Web Clipper can clip a variety of things. So you can clip, they can see here a full article, a full page, you can clip images, you can take pictures of business cards, and Evernote will also scan for the text that is contained within the images. With Pocket, Pocket is more geared towards general news articles or blog entries. So anything you save in Pocket is more geared towards later reading there. So what I've done in the past is if I come across an article that's super long and I don't have time to read about it during the workday, that I can save it for later reading during the commute or when I have a bit more time or for some weekend reading to catch up on all those interesting articles I found during the week. Next up is Toby. So I'm sure that many of us have the links that we open up week after week, but you may have them saved in a bookmarks bar, you may have them saved in kind of a drop-down menu, but it's the same action over and over again. Now, what Toby is that it's a Chrome extension that will allow you to open up a tab and create sets of links. So if you open up the same links over and over again, you can actually set them in collections and then click a single button to open all of those links in a single tab and have it all load in the background ready to go. I use this for very frequently accessed documents. So if I have staff check-ins or documents that I need to reference very frequently, I will drop it in Toby and I can just open up a new tab, find the link right there. It's all the buttons are fairly large compared to the really small buttons in the bookmarks tab. Yeah, this is super handy for making more efficient use of finding those bookmarks.
All right, so up next are calendars and meetings. So just as I talked before about the amount of time that we spend with email, we also spend a huge chunk of our working time addressing or being in meetings, scheduling meetings, scheduling things in our calendars. And so the next few tools that I'm going to share hopefully are going to be things that are going to help make that a little bit easier for you. So the next tool is a tool specifically for Zoom. So if you use Zoom, which is a platform similar to GoToWebinar that we're using right now, one of the cool things I love about Zoom is that there is a plugin for Google Calendar and Outlook that streamlines the process of actually scheduling a meeting. So without this plugin, you have to actually schedule your meeting manually. And what do I mean by that? You have to go into Zoom, generate the link, set the date and the time, and then you have to copy and paste the link and then send it to all the people that you want to actually be a part of the Zoom meeting that you're inviting them to, right? Well, with this particular plugin, through Google Calendar or through Outlook, you can simply create your meeting invite as you would any normal meeting, and then you click the button, turn this into a Zoom meeting, and it automatically generates the information for joining Zoom, and then you just add people that you want to invite and you send off the invite, and it simplifies the process and eliminates the unnecessary step of having to do it manually. So if you use Zoom a lot and you're scheduling Zoom meetings, I highly recommend that you look into installing this plugin in Google Calendar or Outlook. Now, the next series of tools are for folks that are in the habit of scheduling lots of one-on-one meetings. So if you schedule a lot of one-on-one meetings and you find yourself spending a lot of time going back and forth trying to figure out when's the ideal time to meet, trying to put it on the calendar and then sending out the meeting invite, these particular tools, Acuity Scheduling and Calendly, allow you to actually streamline that process and to simplify it. And they both work very, very similarly by allowing you to share a link to your calendar. allowing the person to see what times you have available to meet. The person can pick the time that works for them. The time and the calendar invite is put on your calendar, it's put on their calendar. They get a reminder, they get the information that's generated automatically depending on which platform you like to use to connect via phone or Google Hangout or whatever the platform is, and you can take it from there. Now, right now, I'm currently using Acuity scheduling, and one of the reasons I use that particular tool is that it has a really sophisticated way to allow you to actually, you can ask questions ahead of time for the meeting. You can also accept payment for meetings. So if you are working in a clinic or some other setting where it might be necessary for you to accept payment for a particular type of appointment, Acuity scheduling, I know, does that very well. I know that Calendly is continuing to enhance their platform as well. So in either case, if you're scheduling lots of one-on-one meetings, certainly two tools I recommend that you look into to consider using. So switching gears from calendars and meetings, I want to talk a little bit about icons and graphics in the context of like we're presenting right now, for example, and share just a few tools that might be useful for you that are free and low cost to help you with making your presentations and your marketing materials just a bit snazzier. So the first tool here is a platform called the Noun Project, and many of you are familiar if you've used Keynote or if you use PowerPoint or even Google Slides. There's sort of the standard set of icons that you use, right? And so if you're really pushing the envelope, some of those things might be boring, and you might be looking for something that's sort of outside of the box, or maybe you're trying to capture an idea or show something that is not quite captured by the default set of icons and things that are available through those platforms. Well, the Noun Project essentially allows you access to a wide range of different iconography that you can use and download. And I think much of it is free of charge, provided that you're able to where you're able to actually provide appropriate attribution for use of the icons. Similar, the next platform called Unsplash is a platform that allows you to get access to high quality clip art. So I think many of us have probably seen graphics or flyers or presentations where that same clip art is sort of like floating around, the different people using under the same image. So if you're looking to stand out and find something different, Unsplash can be one of those tools that you use. And again, you want to make sure that you're using appropriate attribution, but can be a really powerful way to just help your presentation and your marketing materials stand out, but you're not breaking the bank trying to make that happen as well.
Cool. And transitioning from icons and graphics over to to-do lists. So to-do lists, you can jump straight into Todoist. So Todoist is the app that I probably use the most often in my kind of personal day-to-day life. And you are seeing a sample shopping list. And one of the really cool things about Todoist is that it allows you to collaborate on to-do lists with other people. So you can invite other people, if there's various to-do items that need doing. And it's not just for personal use, that you can use it for your professional life as well. So, I use it if there are things related to projects that I may need to check up on, or even if there's something that, I may not need to do immediately, but, I just need to set a to-do item several months from now, or a recurring reminder to, check in on something. Todoist is super helpful in that regard. And one of the other things that is super helpful about Todoist as well is that for those of you who are users of Wunderlist, that there is an easy way to transition all of your Wunderlist items over to Todoist. But I'll actually toss it over to Miko, who has made that transition.
Yes. And so just provide additional context for folks that are not familiar. So if you're using Wunderlist like I was, a power user, you're probably crying over the fact that Microsoft is shutting down Wunderlist. So Microsoft bought Wunderlist and they decided to shut it down in favor of their particular tool. I'm not going to tell you what tool that is because I don't want you to use that tool. But Todoist is very similar, and they've actually set up a really seamless way for you to be able to import your your list from Wunderlist into Todoist. So if you were or you are a Wunderlist user, I think you have until May to move over before they shut things down. So not to worry, Todoist is an awesome tool. It works very similarly. So if you're a Wunderlist user and you want to switch over to a similar platform, Todoist is one of the tools that we would recommend for you to consider to do that. So diving a little bit deeper beyond to-do lists and talking more broadly about productivity, we want to share a few tools that might be helpful for you for the folks that are really looking to sort of notch up or take their efficiency and productivity to the next level. So the first tool that we're going to talk about here is a set of tools actually one is called Smartsheet and one is called Airtable. So if you are an Excel nerd and you find that you are limited by the features that are available in Excel, you want to just do some more sophisticated things that Excel is not allowing you to do, Smartsheet and Airtable are two comparable tools, and they are essentially Excel on steroids. Okay, so these are web-based platforms that are essentially Excel on steroids. So there's something that you sort of maxed out the capability of what Excel can do, and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do you take it to the next level? Definitely recommend looking at Smartsheet and Airtable. And one of the things I wanted to note for these particular tools, and also for a number of the tools that we talked about, if you're working for a nonprofit organization, many of these companies have discounts for nonprofits, and so it might not be readily available on the website. You might have to reach out to the sales team or to the support team to inquire about that. But many of these actually have a special discount rate for nonprofit organizations. So make sure that if you're signing up for any of these for your organization, that you're taking advantage of those offers if they're available to you.
Great. And next up, we have a series of automation tools. So automation is something that's near and dear to my heart. And I'm going to kick it off with If This Then That, or ifttt.com, as well as Zapier. So I'll start with If This Then That. If This Then That is a super basic tool that allows you to connect various things around the internet, or you can also use it with things like Google Home or your Alexa. And what it does is you can trigger actions based on other things. So an example would be, this one recipe here was like, say thanks to the new Twitter follower for following you. So your recipe would be something along the lines of, every time you get a new Twitter follower, send a preset message over to them. Or another kind of recipe could be, every time a new post arrives on your Instagram feed, take that picture and save it to this directory. And really, the only limit is really what you can think of in terms of the various things that you can put together. I mentioned earlier using it with Home Assistants that I have my Google Home configured that if I say certain keywords that it'll turn on certain sets of lights in the home as well. So there's a lot of extensibility that is available for If This Then That. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more complex, there's Zapier. So what's really cool about Zapier is that you can trigger from a whole bunch of different apps. And I believe at last count, they had over 1,500 apps that have built integrations with Zapier. So this is actually something that we use in our organization. We use the fundraising platform, Fundraise Up. And every time we get a new donation, we will send a Slack message over to our fundraisers to let them know that a new donation has arrived. So this is super handy for sending things like notifications. Zapier can also be used for things like sending emails, for pushing data around. It's super flexible. It can integrate with a lot of things. We also use it with our CRM. So there are certain triggers that if certain actions happen when someone makes a donation or fills in an email form to sign up for a newsletter, it'll push certain data into our CRM, and it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it and makes it super easy to connect everything end to end. Now, if you're looking for something a bit more complex than Zapier, there's Microsoft Power Automate. Now, this tool was previously known as Microsoft Flow, and they just recently rebranded. And this allows you to build very complex flows that can get quite detailed. So, if you are generating reports that need to be emailed, very often, you can actually put that all into Power Automate, and you can do things like insert the latest information into rows in Excel, and then at the end of every week or every day, take that Excel document, convert it into a PDF, attach it to an email, and send it to someone with a preset subject line and a preset body, and you're done. So it can take some very manual tasks and cut down the amount of time that it takes to complete them. A general kind of rule is, I would say, anything that you can clearly define and a step-by-step process, chances are you can probably automate it. So, if there's anything that that you're doing that may fit that criteria, the previous 3 tools that I just showed you may be a great fit for that. Next up is texting. So, working in an organization that serves thousands of youth across the country, we do make a lot of use of text messaging. And one of the tools that I've been using for quite a while is MightyText. Now, MightyText is for Android users, and I know that Android has its own texting function that in which you can send messages on the desktop. But the reason why I like MightyText for desktop texting is because it has a whole bunch of additional functionality. So with MightyText, instead of having to go back and forth from your phone or to your computer for texting, it allows you to download a Chrome extension, and it'll open everything up directly there. And you can see here, like, you can have a power view. So if you're messaging many people simultaneously, you can see a whole bunch of conversations at once. But the other really cool thing is that MightyText also allows for scheduled text messages. So let's say, if you want to send a text message, but it's 2 in the morning or something, and you don't want to be messaging someone that early in the morning, but it's still important that they get the message. You can set this scheduler so that wait until 9:30 or a more reasonable hour to send that message as well. iMessage also has functionality where you can message on the desktop as well. And one thing to keep in mind is that when messaging through iMessage, the full functionality of it does require both users to both be using iMessage. Otherwise, if you're using iMessage and you're texting someone, that's why you may sometimes receive text messages where it have a quotation mark, like someone liked your last message. It's because they're likely on using iMessage and responding to your texts that way. So these are just a couple of tools to make things a little quicker on the text messaging side by taking it to the desktop as well. Another tool that I want to share with you around texting is Twilio Studio. So Twilio in general is a platform that allows developers to make applications that use voice, video, as well as text messages. But text messages is Twilio's core strength. And one of the tools that they have is called Twilio Studio, which allows you to drag and drop an interface that, if someone were to send you a text message or make a call, you can actually define what would happen. So you can build your own interactive voice response system. So here in the slide example, you can see, if someone makes a call, you can say, certain things. Hello, how can we direct your call? Press 1 for sales, or you can say the word sales, and you can create these little flows that will allow people to kind of navigate or to get the information they need. The way that I've used it at Pathways is when we have been recruiting volunteers in the past, and I'm giving a presentation, I'll just put up my phone number or the Twilio phone number directly on a slide, and prompt everyone, hey, if you are interested in volunteering with us, send us a text message right now, and it gathers all the information very quickly with as little friction as possible, because it's much easier to send a text message to get that information transferred over. So Twilio is a super flexible platform to do that. One of the things they have as well is that they have a $500 credit that is available for nonprofits. So you just have to go to twilio.org and apply for it, and then you will have $500 in credits to work with to send your first text message. And I believe each text message is about 1 cent per message. So the $500 will go quite a long way to send thousands of text messages.
All right, awesome. So the next tool here, again, sticking with the texting thing, is called Textable, and this is a tool that I use specifically for email opt-in. And so if you are at a workshop like this, for example, we're like, okay, if you want the slides, text this word to this number, and we'll add you to the list. And so I use this often as a way to do opt-ins, and essentially it automatically adds them to the email list tool that I'm using. And so I'm able to follow up with people after a particular presentation like this, for example. And so the use case could be similar to what I just described, or perhaps you're doing a fundraiser where you're trying to capture information from people that are actually in the room. That could be another way that you might use this particular tool. So as we move into the home stretch, I want to talk a little bit about devices, but I also want to let folks know that are still on the call, and if you're in the chat, I want to let you know that we cannot see the chat. So if you're asking questions or putting comments in the chat, we cannot see that. So if you have a question, you have a comment, please use the question feature or the Q&A feature so that we can see those, and we can definitely make sure that we get to those as we begin to wrap things up. So as we talk about devices, I want to share a few of my favorite tools for folks that are using mobile devices. The first tool here is a tool called Moment, available for both the Android and Apple devices. And it's a tool that essentially allows you to track how much time you're spending on your device, track how much time you're actually spending using particular applications, so that you can begin to shift those habits if you find yourself spending too much time using particular applications, or just in general, spending too much time on your devices. And one of the wonderful things about this particular tool is that now it's spurred companies like Apple and Google to actually build into their mobile device settings trackers that are very similar. And so if you're not using this tool, that's very likely that your particular iOS device, your Android device, has something very similar to help you to get a better handle on how you're using your device, and just have a healthier relationship with your device overall. The next tool that I really love is a tool called Scanner Pro. And this is a tool that really allows you on the go to scan, to take pictures of, to turn into PDFs, and to email or to scan from your device, or to fax from your device documents. So I've often had the experience where I'm working with organizations that may be a few decades behind on the technology piece, and they're still requiring, paper with a signed signature, and electronic signature is not acceptable for them, for example. And so you need some way to get them the documentation that they need without you trying to find like a place where you have a fax machine, for example. This particular application allows you to simply use your phone, snap some pictures, you can turn it into a PDF, you can fax it, you can send it from your device, and all is well with the world. And the organization has what they need, and you can find a fax machine. So really cool application if you find yourself in that particular situation, or that having that need.
All right, and next up we have transcription tools. So if you find yourself having to, just typing a whole bunch of audio, the next set of tools should help speed that up quite a bit.
All right, awesome. So the first tool up here is called Dragon Dictation. It is a tool that allows you for the mobile device to actually text to speech. And so you're actually able to dictate what it is that you want to say. You can dictate a blog post or text message or email, and then once the text message or to the email or to the social media or however it is that you plan to actually use the text. But a really cool tool if you're looking for something on the go where you're out and about and you want to be able to do something that's short form or long form. Really cool tool to help you do that.
And if you're looking for a service to help transcribe audio very quickly, there is a tool called Rev. So Rev is a service where you can submit audio files, and it will turn around the transcriptions usually within 24 hours. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but it bills out at about $1.25 US per minute, and the accuracy is great. I find it helpful for if you need super accurate transcriptions of interviews, as well as for generating captions. If you have let's say a short clip that you need captions, and going back to the earlier tool that I was talking about, Kapwing. So the way that Rev and Kapwing can work together is that you can flip it over to Rev and ask for an SRT file, where the text was burned in the subtitle, something that is a bit more cost effective than Rev, given that it is $1.25 per minute, and you don't mind with accuracy that is a little lower. Then Temi and Otter AI are automated solutions. So Temi is actually related to Rev. It's owned by the same company, but Temi is the automated version, and it's 1/5 of the cost. So 25 per minute for the automated transcription tool that Temi offers. And when I've used it, I've noted that I would estimate about 90% accuracy versus closer to the high 90s that I would see in Rev. And Otter AI is another tool that is a little bit different in its approach. So Temi is intended for recorded interview type files that require speech recognition. Otter is actually intended more for just generally having notes for meetings and interviews or lectures or those kinds of things. Otter's vision is actually to record every spoken word that someone may say in the course of their lifetime. So they have very ambitious kind of goals, but Otter, I think the free package has about 600 minutes per month, so the accuracy is pretty great as well. If you're just looking to get a rough idea of what was spoken, either at a meeting or if you do have a recording, you can upload those as well. So both of these are automated solutions for transcription that may come in handy. Now, in terms of bringing this all together, I think it's also helpful to think about, how do you keep up to date with all the new tools that are, always coming out? And all of you have taken, the initial step by, coming to webinars like this one, where we share all the tools that we've come across in our day-to-day work. However, I wanted to share a resource. I'd be remiss if I didn't share the N10 Discuss Forum, being a board member of N10. So I find the N10 Discuss Forum super helpful because anytime that I've had any question, with a recommendation for a specific tool to do a certain function, I get a very quick response from a member of the community who has experience using a tool. And it's a very warm and generous community that with a lot of expertise as well. So I know that I've found quite a number of tools, and most recently there was a ticketing system that I was looking for, and there was a lot of great recommendations from various folks. One that came highly recommended from an organization that had been using this tool for quite a while. Now, I think it's also important to remember that at the end of the day, all of these things are tools, and that to remember to focus on the things that really matter, which is the people behind them. So at the end of the day, the tools are just one piece. We're focused on our missions, and that we are serving the people who are impacted by the tools. So one of the things that well, actually, I'll just kind of take us over to the questions slide over here. If any of you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to reach out, get in touch as well. And yeah, with that, we'll kind of turn it over to the audience. And so, Shabs, if there's any questions from the audience, so we'd be happy to take them.
Hey, Jason and Miko, thank you so much. That was a great session. So in terms of the questions, I don't have any so far. We'll just keep the chat open and see if some questions do come in. But if not, thank you so much for your time. It was an excellent session. And, obviously people can also reach out to you. Are the slides being shared to the audience?
Yes, we'll make them available.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Awesome. You're welcome, and it was a pleasure.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's great. You're welcome, and it was a pleasure to be here to share.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Maggie, Jason, and Miko for your time. I don't see any questions coming in. I think it's a one-way kind of thing because only organizers are able to chat apparently. So we'll send the slides out over email and then touch base if there is any follow-up questions from the audience over email. All right. Thank you, guys.
Great. Well, thanks so much.